Alright, it's that time again for another rant of the guru. And tonight I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what's expected of somebody who's training Silat and Kuntao, and particularly in the art of SERAK. What's important for you to understand as a student and as a practitioner. One thing is, you have to have a competent instructor who can teach you the actual basics and the fundamentals and the proper alphabet of the art. What is the alphabet? The alphabet is the jurus, the hand forms, the long forms and short forms, the platforms, the lankas, the footwork, the strategies of the platforms, and how that applies to striking, evasion, advancing, movement, and how that also applies to using various energies of the art. Also, the kuda, the postures, okay, or the sikap, the warrior postures. All of this stuff are the fundamentals, and you have to have a qualified instructor that can teach you these things properly. You have to have an understanding of all the root motions, of all the body positionings, and all the strategies of how to move your body, your upper body and your lower body, and how to move all the joints in the body. It's not just, some say that the art is just an upper and lower, that it's divided into two separate arts. I would go even further to say it's divided in the different levels of the body: the head, the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, the hands, the hips, the knees, the ankles, the feet, and understanding mobility with all these different areas of your body. So these things have to be understood and trained. You have to learn your jurus in all positions, not just in one position or just one structure or just one kuda. They have to be learned in all kudas. You have to learn your jurus sitting down, kneeling down, lying down, standing up, walking, because you never know in what position you'll be the moment you have to allow your jurus to come out naturally. Your kuda has to be developed also from all different levels: a high posture, a medium posture, a low medium posture, and a very low posture, and then even lower than that. So a lot of the arts of Silat and Kuntao, particularly an art like SERAK, has an alphabet, has a list of ingredients. And these ingredients have to be learned. You have to understand how to, particularly in the jurus, how to use the jurus from beginning to end, or from any position of the jurus, and from the end to the beginning. In an art like HARIMAU the backbone of the entire art is the kuda. And in that particular art, from the Bordes Hanafi family, we have more or less 28 kuda that are used in multiple combinations. And those kuda give you every possible positioning of your body. And this is similar, well, one could say that this goes back to the Lohan positions of the Shaolin. And you see some of these postures also in Chen Tai Chi, and some of the older Kuntaos. It's all very, very related. I have a little story for you, if you're willing to hear it. When Guru Richard Crabbe de Bordes, my HARIMAU teacher, went to Los Angeles for the first time with his teacher Pendekar Hanafi, they performed and demonstrated the kuda in front of many students of Guru Dan and Asano. And they perform the Kura Kura also in front of Om Paul de Tours, and I believe in front of Om Willem de Tours too. And if I'm not mistaken, Om Paul de Tours said afterwards to everybody in the crowd, and to Pendekar Hanafi and to Guru Richard Crabbe de Bordes, that what they demonstrated, the old Kura Kura Kombinasi, was how the old Silat was taught, and how originally the old SERAK was. It was low to the ground. And a particular thing that Uncle Paul said was that his uncles, his teachers, Uncle John de Vries and Uncle Venji de Vries, they practiced Kura Kura very similar to what he witnessed Pendekar Hanafi and Guru Richard Crabbe de Bordes demonstrating. Now, I've had many discussions with my older brother, friend, and teacher, Mahaguru Richard Crabbe de Bordes, my true mentor in Harimau Minangkabau. We had discussions about SERAK, and we analyzed it together one day. And he said to me, you know, if you look closely, the art is combining several Kura Kura together. Now, I won't go into the details as to what Kura Kura they are. That information is basically kept private. But more or less, we counted, there was something around 8 or 12 Kura Kura that were being used in SERAK over and over again. So again, if you have the alphabet, if you have the ingredients to a real system, then you'll know how to use the system. And if you're taught that, you understand how to make your own Silat. And that's the whole point of this rant tonight. When you see good SERAK players, and good Kuntao players, good Harimau players, good Silat players, because Silat is the final product of years of training. You notice that each one of them moves a little differently or has a different expression. And that's because everybody is different. Nobody has the same genetics, nobody has the same build, nobody has the same musculature and movement. So some people might have different attributes than other people. But what's important is if you have the alphabet of the art or the systems, then you will understand what aspect of the art works best for your body type. And then you, over time, through your training, you will develop your own Silat, your own aspect of, for example, if you train SERAK, you will develop your own SERAK. You will develop your own Harimau if you train Harimau Minangkabau. So this is very important because a lot of times students will try to emulate their teacher. And even though that's a good thing to do, and they should do that in the beginning so that they have a model and a representation of how the art feels, how the art is to be expressed, how a true practitioner moves in the art, at some point, if that student has a good instructor or a good coach or a good teacher, the teacher will show them how to bring out the best of that individual and how to make that individual better through using the alphabet of the system to design a personalized methodology for that individual. So another thing to consider here is that a real system of Silat is one where a lot of the training is done by yourself, and then a percentage of the training is done with training partners. Okay? But you have to get the motions ingrained. You have to have the neurological programming of the root motions, of the fundamentals, of the footwork patterns, of the geometry of the body, the alignments of the body, of the posture, the Kura Kura. This is a very important thing. When you see people doing Silat or claiming to do Silat and they do not have all the ingredients, if their system doesn't have Jurus or Kudas or Lankas or Sambuts or two-man drills, sensitivity drills, rooting, if it doesn't have any way of generating power, then frankly they're full of shit. And that's okay. They can be full of shit, but that's the truth. It's an empty Silat. A lot of people are training just the eggshell of Silat and not the egg, not the whole yolk and the proteins. You see, this is very common, and especially all over YouTube, which is why I don't really care to put too much video of application. Anybody who wants to see application, well, you can come see me. I'll show you. You know, I gladly teach anybody who wants to be taught, and I'll gladly touch hands with anybody who wants to touch hands. It's no problem at all. What you see a lot of times is people doing fancy technique with a complacent partner, and it looks oh so perfect, like the Hollywood movies. But that's not it. The real Silat is not pretty and does not look good on film, but it gets the job done. Now, back to the original rant. In order for you to write sentences, you have to know letters, you have to know words, you have to know nouns, adjectives, etc. You have to know proper grammar. Without that language, you won't be able to communicate or write. It's the same thing in music. It's the same thing in any art form. It's the same thing in Silat, particularly arts like SERAK and HARIMAU. You have to have the ingredients. You have to have the kura in HARIMAU Minangkabau. You have to have the bua, the movements. You have to have the kimbangans, the kombinasis, the combinations. You have to have the pukuls, the hitting combinations. You have to have the jurus, the footwork, the lankas, etc. So anyhow, I invite you to learn these things. If you're interested in learning more about actual Silat, SERAK, or HARIMAU Minangkabau, you can contact me if you're in the Miami, Florida area, or you can contact me and I can point you in the right direction. If you're looking for an instructor in your local area, I can definitely help you. I recommend highly Guru Richard Crabbe de Bordes, Mahaguru Richard Crabbe de Bordes. He's a phenomenal HARIMAU Minangkabau teacher, and he's an exponent of the art that has used the art in the real world. He has taken the Silat out of the dojo or out of the classroom and into real world security for presidential security in Africa. He's done a lot of things for tactical situations as well, and he trains a lot of tactical and military overseas. So anyhow, I recommend him highly for HARIMAU Minangkabau, and I recommend any of his instructors. He's got instructors in Texas, in Ohio, in New Orleans. Of course, there's myself in Miami, Florida, and he has instructors in London, and also there's instructors in Malaysia as well. Another great HARIMAU exponent from that lineage is Guru Scott McQuaid. He's my brother in the art, and he's a fantastic HARIMAU player. And if you're interested in SERAK, you have very good SERAK from some folks from Uncle Paul de Tours. You have SERAK from Uncle Maurice de Tours. You have SERAK from Pak Victor de Tours. And then you have SERAK from Uncle Willem de Tours. Now, I'm not going to criticize anybody in any of those lines. I think a little Silat is better than no Silat. So if you can only find whoever's in your area that does SERAK, well, go out and seek them. Go out and learn from them. Touch hands with them, learn from them, and see if you can learn something. I do, however, recommend that if you are going to train SERAK, then you should investigate all the lines of SERAK. You should learn Uncle Paul style, Uncle Maurice's style, Uncle Victor style, and Uncle Willem style. My personal preference is Uncle Willem de Tours' style, because Uncle Willem is showing all the old ways of the art. There's no modification, there's no necessary need to reverse engineer anything. and there's no hoopla to jump through. You don't have to jump through any crazy stuff to learn anything. It's all there. Okay? And we'll talk about this in other videos. And for those of you who are supporting these videos, please click like and subscribe. And if you want anything answered, please ask me some questions, and I will gladly answer them for you in another video. You can leave your questions in the comment sections of the video. And for those of you who do not like these videos, well, my advice to you is go fuck yourself. God bless you. Have a wonderful night.